Hello and welcome back to the Meejah channel. I'm William Hugh and in this episode we'll be talking about the movie-making app Cinema FV5, coming up right after this. Those of you who follow this channel will know that recently I've become enamoured of making films with mobile phones. And why not? They're convenient, nearly everybody has one, and the cameras are superb. But in order to get truly professional results, you're going to need something that will allow you to emulate, say, a DSLR, and control all the automatic functions on your phone. Myself, I use two different filmmaking apps for this purpose. One I use for narrative filmmaking, such as my horror films and comedies, and that's called Filmic Pro. And I'll be talking more about that in a future episode. The other app is called Cinema FV5, because it allows me to set up the camera for professional shots very quickly. I have another channel in which I do a lot of walking videos, and if you'd like to take a look at that, I'll leave a link for you up here and in the comments below. Now when you're out walking in the countryside, carrying all your equipment with you, you need something you can set up with a minimum of fuss and fiddling. For this, I use Cinema FV5. I can literally set it up for professional shots with just 2 taps of my finger on the phone screen. Oh, and I should point out that nobody's paying me to say these good things about this app. It's just a very good app that I use. Now there are 2 versions of this app. One is a free version called Cinema FV5 Lite, which has all the functionality of the paid app, but with one constraint: it will only render to 720p. Whereas the paid app will render any resolution that your phone can produce. Now when I bought the paid version of this app, it cost me £1.99, which in the UK at least is less than the price of a cup of coffee. I think the price may have risen slightly recently, but I still consider this app to be a bit of a bargain. So let me give you a rundown of what this app can do. When you open the app on your phone, it'll look like this. I'll just give you a walkthrough of the controls. Now be aware that these might vary slightly depending on the capabilities of your own phone. The first stop on the bottom strip is the white balance control, which gives you all the usual options: auto, cloudy, sunny, fluorescent light, and incandescent light. And there's also a white balance lock, which when in use will display here. My own preference is to use auto mode but lock it on recording. Next along the bottom are the focus options: autofocus, manual focus, macro for close-up work, face follow, and continuous focus, which is not really recommended as the camera is in continuous hunting mode. And finally, touch focus. The manual focus is operated by simply dragging a finger up or down your screen, like this, allowing you to pull focus like a pro. Next is the light metering mode, and here you can choose from matrix, area, single point, or touch modes of metering the light. And once again, you can lock in your choice. The ISO, or sensor sensitivity, can be chosen here. Again, I prefer to leave it in auto, which allows me to use the exposure compensation slider here to fine-tune the exposure. For the minimum fuss quick setup I need for my walking videos, I use touch focus to quickly dial in the area of interest, and then adjust the exposure compensation for the perfect brightness. And I'm good to go. I also use a setting in the main menu to lock in these choices on pressing record, as we'll see later. Now let's look at the left-hand side of the screen. At the top we have the main setting wheel. Here you can specify all sorts of stuff, including where your clips will be stored, how they will be named, etc. You can also turn the camera sounds on and off, and adjust their volume. You can assign functions to keys, apply geotagging info, designate preferred camera applications and compatibility, and of course reset everything to their default values. Next down is the video settings. This includes container formats, video resolutions, etc, etc. The image parameters allow you to define the contrast, saturation and sharpness during recording, and this allows you to dial in a nice flat image, ideal for colour grading in the edit. Now these are two of my favourite settings. Locking both exposure and white balance the moment the record button is pushed. Here you can also limit the recording length and its size, and automatically restart recording should you wish to do so. Next down, the audio controls. Here you can choose between an internal or an external microphone, and you can specify custom audio settings. And vitally, you can even turn off any automatic gain function. I keep this permanently checked. Next, the viewfinder controls. I personally like to keep the screen on and bright, so I check those two. Here you can choose which controls appear on the bottom bar, and as you can see, I tend to check them all. Here you can choose whether to show a histogram, what type it is, etc, etc. You can also specify whether to show a composition grid overlay, how thick the lines are and what sort. My own favourite is the classic rule of thirds. You can also choose to display a crop guide if you're planning to add black bars later. And the last button here shows you general information. The menu icon allows you to turn on and off overlays such as histograms, composition grids, and crop guides. The lightning bolt, of course, turns the camera lights on and off. Clicking the headphone icon lets you attach headphones, so you can monitor the audio during recording. And finally, the playback button will take you to the folder where your video recordings are kept, for quick playback. All in all, a pretty comprehensive app. So there you go, that's Cinema FV5, a movie making app for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to comment, like and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next time on the Meejah channel.